Who are the top 10 quarterbacks in Devy and C2C? I've got the definitive list right here after the stinger. It's Felix Sharpe at Sharpe Review for CampusToCanton.com. You can find me again at Sharpe Review. If you don't know what a Campus to Canton League is, it's essentially like a dynasty league if you played NFL Dynasty, except there's a corresponding college component to this dynasty league. So yes, your college team competes every week, and you set a lineup, and you can start Travion Henderson and C.J. Stroud and Jordan Addison and Jaxson Dart. Those guys are scoring points for you, and then when they declare for the NFL draft, boom, they're on your NFL team. So CampusToCanton.com is the website, and this is the top 10, my top 10 for quarterbacks. You can find my full rankings list at CampusToCanton.com. I think how should we start? Number 10 or number 1? We're going to start with number 10, and that's Spencer Rattler transferring from OU to the real USC. And if you don't know, just ask somebody that has gone to the University of South Carolina. They'll tell you that the University of South Carolina was a college before California was a state. Anyway, the Duke's Mayo Bowl champions, Shane Beamer and company, bringing in some offensive firepower with Spencer Rattler. I still think that he has a chance to be an NFL draft pick. He has NFL arm talent. He has some mobility. USC also bringing in Christian Beal-Smith, transfer running back from Wake Forest, Antoine Wells, a transfer wide receiver from James Madison. Now, I need to look at Mr. Wells because I've not heard of him and I don't know anything about him. And obviously, Austin Stogner comes with Spencer Rattler over to USC. So Spencer Rattler is number 10. Number 9 is a player that he is a planet and has an orbit all to himself. That's Florida's Anthony Richardson, one of the best size-adjusted athletes in the country at any position. Billy Napier going in there and bringing in, really a balanced but run-heavier offense. They bring in Jack Miller, the transfer, to compete potentially with Anthony Miller. Anthony Miller needs to get on the field. Hopefully he wins that job. I think that he will. We're talking about, potentially the next Cam Newton. It could be Anthony Richardson, just one of my favorite players in the country, and boy, do I like having him rostered everywhere in my C2Cs. Planet, orbit to himself. Number 8, Jake Haener, the Fresno State Bulldog to himself, considered entering the transfer portal to follow his coach to Washington. But you don't really need an offensive coordinator at Fresno State when you've got Jake Haener on the field. I mean, one of the best field generals in the country. He can make the off-script and off-platform plays, but he has some intangibles. I mean, you watch that upset over USC, and there's a play in that game where Jalen Cropper had a catch that may have been a catch, wasn't. It was near the goal line. I mean, without thinking about it, Jake Haener gets the offense up to the line of scrimmage to snap the ball so they can't review the play. I mean, that's NFL level intangibles. Yes, he's going to be a 6-year player. I hear all of you analytics guys and you spreadsheet simps out there saying Jake Haener is too old, but he is absolutely one of the most fun quarterbacks in the country, and he's going to score a lot of points next year back with the Fresno State Bulldogs. Number 7, this player is currently in the transfer portal. It is Jaxson Dart from the other USC. Spent some time at Oklahoma. Maybe he becomes Jeff Levy's new Matt Corral. Listen, Corner Canyon High School is quarterback high school. It's quarterback U between Zach Wilson, Jaxson Dart, and now Devin Brown. I mean, if you want to be a top flight college quarterback, you got to go to Corner Canyon over there in Utah. Jaxson Dart really came from nowhere. He had no composite ranking as of October of 2020, and then unseats Keaton Slovis as a freshman, forces Keaton Slovis into the transfer portal. I've talked to someone about at 24/7 Sports about this. Where was Jaxson Dart in his recruiting? Said it doesn't matter. He is legit. That's a quote. Jaxson Dart is legit. That's why he's number 7 on my rankings. You know who else is legit? Tyler Van Dyke. Who knew that they made stud gunslingers in Connecticut? Well, Tyler Van Dyke is one, bringing the U back. This is an aggressive, big, and mobile quarterback. That is throwing the ball downfield. Really got to see who's going to replace Charleston Rambo for the Hurricanes, but I've got a lot of Tyler Van Dyke rostered places. One of my favorites, Jalen Knighton, emerged last year. Don Chaney was hurt. We're going to see what year 2 looks like. I mean, think about Tyler Van Dyke's story. And on Devy Debate, I called for him to be, back in July of last year, to be the next Joe Burrow. He was behind De'Aaron King. They brought in this highly touted recruit, Jake Garcia, and they were competing to back up Derek King. Well, lo and behold, Tyler Van Dyke didn't need to transfer because he became the starter. He's one of the best gunslingers in the country. He'll be 2023 eligible. Love me some Tyler Van Dyke. Number 5, Grayson McCall, out there down with Coastal Carolina. It's really the dual threat ability of Grayson McCall that brings him to number 5 on my list. Another quarterback who's going to score you a ton of points on the college side of your campus to Canton leagues, especially with Jalen Halai and Isaiah Likely now entering the NFL draft. That offense is going to revolve around Grayson McCall, as if it didn't already, even more so down there for the game, I forgot. Coastal Carolina. I know it's a bird. I forgot their mascot. Let me know in the comments. I'm going to remember 5 seconds after I move on from here. Number 4, Quinn Ewers. I mean, it feels obligatory to have the number 1 rated quarterback prospect who's going to be starting for Steve Sarkisian. But Steve Sarkisian has, obviously, the record that he has in developing quarterbacks. Even last year, between Hudson Card and Casey Thompson, those guys scored points. And so if Quinn Ewers becomes the starter, and I don't think that that's a given, if Quinn Ewers becomes the starter, he should score points for this team. Troy O'Meara was injured last year, didn't play. Hopefully he will be healthy. He is a player that has a catch radius the size of the zip code there in Austin. And then, of course, Bijan Robinson, who can do everything. Xavier Worthy, the phenom freshman. And then they just added Jaleel Billingsley. They still had Jatavian Sanders there. If they can shore up that offensive line, Texas is going to score a lot of points, and it's going to be Quinn Ewers who's going to be slinging it around. Number 3, C.J. Stroud. And I was wrong about Stroud, him being a first-time starter. I thought that Ryan Day and company would emphasize the running game between Mayan Williams and Master Teague and Travion Henderson. They didn't need to because C.J. Stroud, the Heisman finalist, was just that good. And at this point, you have to consider whoever Ryan Day's quarterback is, you got to rank them highly because they're going to put up numbers. They're going to get potential draft capital. You are already seeing C.J. Stroud atop some 2023 mock drafts. So he is number 3. Now, number 2 and number 1. Might be a little bit controversial. I think that you kind of see where I'm going here. In number 2, I am putting Bryce Young, the efficient Heisman Trophy winner. Let me say some good things about Bryce Young. I think that the Russell Wilson comps for Bryce Young were accurate. This is somebody, it's hard, like you never, even in high school, at modern day, you never saw this guy get touched. He's so elusive in the pocket. He scrambles to throw the ball downfield. He does not scramble to run. He kind of runs only when necessary, and he rarely ever finds it necessary. But we saw with Sam Howell, in his 3rd year, he became a runner, and he doesn't have nearly the athletic ability that Bryce Young has. So we could still see Bryce Young emerge and add that dual threat ability to his game. Right now, he's playing the Russell Wilson game. You can't touch me in the backfield. I'm going to run around. I'm going to find somebody downfield. Next year, it's going to be JoJo Earl and a guy Hall and Ja'Cory Brooks that he's throwing to. So Bryce Young is number 2 for me. Of course, that means that number 1 is Stetson Bennett. No, I'm just playing. It's Caleb Williams, and there is a fantasy aspect to these rankings, and Caleb Williams. I talked about Anthony Richardson being a planet with an orbit. Well, it's the same for Caleb Williams. Loves to play backyard football, loves to have these long developing plays, loves to throw the ball downfield, and he knows that defensive linemen can't really get to him, can't touch him. We saw in his first year rushes for over 400 yards, is just a super dynamic player who can get out into open space. And again, I love that aggressiveness. It's the same aggressiveness that Tyler Van Dyke has. He wants to throw the ball downfield. And I went to public school, but I learned that you score points in the end zone. And every throw, Caleb Williams is trying to get the ball downfield and score a touchdown. Let me know what you think about these rankings in the comments. Do I have it right? Is there somebody that I missed? You can find me at Sharpe Review. Remember, send me a DM if you want to know about Campus to Canton Leagues. If it sounds like a fun format to you, shoot me a message on Twitter or comment here and I'll respond to you. Appreciate you tuning in, and until next time, I don't really have a sign off. Peace.